Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again. My name is Queen, a student from the Faculty of Business. Welcome to You Alive. Today's event is organized by the NUS Office of Alumni Relations. The program today is in 3 sections: a 10-minute talk by our speaker, Mr. Jack Sim, a 20-minute interview with Viswa Sadasivan, Chairman of the You Alive Organizing Committee, and then a 30-minute Q&A session. If you wish to ask a question, please make your way to the microphones placed along the aisles, introduce yourself, and speak directly into them. This is essential so the online community is able to hear your question. Today, we will also be using Pigeonhole Live for our Q&A sessions. If you have a smartphone, a tablet, or a laptop computer with you, just launch your internet browser and go to phlive.at. Key in our event passcode, which is UALIVE. I repeat, it is UALIVE. Click go, and you're free to fire away all your burning questions while also voting for any question that interests you. The more popular questions with more votes will stand a higher chance to be answered by the speaker. Also, do remember to leave your feedback on the Pigeonhole application after the show. Thank you for your kind attention, and please sit back and enjoy.
Alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Sim.
So I think we can play a video first, and then we can start a little chat. Yeah, please. When we are children, our parents tell us not to talk about shit. This is a really serious problem. What you don't talk about, you cannot improve. A lot of people call me Mr. Toilet. I'm really proud when I hear that because it gives an identity to the work that I do. 40% of the world population still do not have access to a simple toilet.
Shit is like fire. If you manage properly, the fire can cook your meal. If you don't manage it, it burns down your house. If you manage shit, it becomes a fertilizer. If you don't manage it, it kills you.
About 90% of all the surface water in India are contaminated by feces. 1.5 million children under 5 a year in the world die unnecessarily. You have to have clean water, you have to have safe sanitation. A rich man staying next to a slum. The flies doesn't know a poor man from a rich man. So the rich man is probably eating the shit of the poor man. You better help them get toilets or you will eat their shit. Think about it. We are hosting the World Toilet Summit. This has been an international event every year since 2001.
The people say, why should I use the toilet? It's fresh air outside. I can chit-chat with my friend while I'm squatting there. Our big breakthrough will happen when we look at the poor as if they are customers. When we have to sell them products that are very beautiful and sexy. Once this becomes object of desire, if you don't have, you're not keeping up with the Jonases.
We want toilets to become a status symbol for the poor so that they feel proud to own a toilet. Just like a Louis Vuitton handbag. But really, we are actually breaking the taboo on sanitation in the global news. World Toilet Day is 19 November every year. we have the big squad. We are protesting the plight of the 2.5 billion people that still do not have access to a toilet. The fact is, I think about toilet every moment. A life is only 80 years. I'm 52. If I'm going to spend 28 years consuming ostentatiously just to have a diamond watch that I can't read the time because it's too sparkling, it makes no sense. Doing social work that is creating some impact, I think it's better to die like that. I think we can see the day that everybody on planet Earth will have access to clean toilets any day, anytime. Yeah. So, in school, I usually fail in exams. So after failing everything, I could not go to poly or university, so I went to VITB, which is ITE. And after the army, I start to do business because I work as a salesman, but I cannot get promoted because you don't get a degree. And so because there's no employment career path, I started to do business and realized that business is much easier than studying. So I start to make money selling, importing building material from Europe and sell to Singapore, Malaysia. I bought so much that all the factories in Germany, in France, start to tell me to set up factory for them in Malaysia. So we start producing roof tiles, bricks, acoustic partition, toilet cubicles, and made more and more money. And then later on, I ventured into real estate development, buying small pieces of land to build houses, and eventually started the Australian International School in Singapore with 15 other friends. And after 16 years of business, I have 16 profitable businesses, and then a recession came, and I count the money, I still got enough money to retire. So I thought I don't want to wait for the next recession. So I start to do social work. So I left the rat race and started to do toilets, because toilet is neglected, right? So if you want to do social work, the best type of social work is to find the type of things that nobody wants to do. So toilet is unspeakable, taboo. So I call myself the World Toilet Organization, WTO. That sounds like World Trade Organization. So at that time, I hope World Trade Organization will sue me so that the sanitation agenda will be very visible. They didn't sue me, but it's still very visible. So over the last 15 years, we have succeeded in working with Ministry of Foreign Affairs to propose our founding date, 19th of November, to become the UN World Toilet Day. So a small NGO from Singapore has created a UN Day, which is celebrated all over the world by all 193 countries, now 94 countries all over the world. And it is a very interesting program. So as I start to realize that actually leading movement, in this case, is like a bowel movement, right? Leading movement around the world is not very difficult, because as a Singaporean, you're very international, and when you go out, people respect you as a Singaporean. It's not like when you are in Singapore, nobody respect you, right? But when you go outside of the country, everybody respect a Singaporean because it's a really very famous brand. And when you go out there to speak about issues, especially what we have gone through from third world to first world journey, people listen a lot. So then I realized that 2.5 billion people don't have toilets, so that is a very big job to do. But because my life gets shorter and shorter, now I'm 58, right? So as my life gets shorter and shorter, I feel more and more urgent to do more new activities to be useful before I die. So I started a second organization called the BOP Hub, Base of Pyramid Hub, which is to turn the 4 billion low-income people earning average $2.50 a day to become a big, massive global economy, because donation cannot solve poverty. Donation actually perpetuate for poverty. Why? Because when you donate money, you create a market price of zero. And then the entrepreneurs cannot start business. Nobody can compete with the market price of zero. So no job is created, so they continue to be poor. So if we were to, instead of donating money, use the money to train them to become vocationally skilled and to become entrepreneurs and to invest in small little businesses, then they can actually, we can unlock their spirit of enterprise and their good work ethics. So I started the BOP Hub, and last year we created the world first trade fair for the base of the pyramid. And Deputy Prime Minister Taman opens it, and World Bank, Rockefeller, Asian Development Bank, Gates Foundation, everybody came. So this year we'll go to Mexico City, and next year we'll come to Singapore to grow the event bigger. So one day we hope that it will be as big as Hanover Fair, and all kind of trade can be done through Singapore, and making Singapore the World Trade Center for poverty sector in the world. And because the world don't have any trade center for poverty sector, so I'm building a 65,000 square foot BOP design center in Ubi Road 4, and end of next year it will open, and together with the MRT station, Ubi station will also open end of next year. And then we will be able to bring everybody to trade through Singapore for this very big marketplace. The poor don't have more money to buy, so if you create jobs, create entrepreneurship, create investment, then the multiplier effect will generate their own economy. So that is the second movement. And last month I was in Davos at the World Economic Forum, and there was a report that 85 billionaire owns as much as 3.5 billion people in the world. So the 3.5 billion is half of the world, which the poorer half of the world own as much as only 85 people. So I think this kind of capitalism is really screwed up, you know. How can the distribution of wealth in the world become like that? Capitalism is supposed to unlock people's spirit of enterprise and work ethics, and then be better than communism and socialism. But today, it is the pendulum have overswung and to the other side, and I think it's not equitable anymore. So when we saw Occupy Central, Occupy Wall Street, Arab Spring, and even in Singapore, there's a lot of dissatisfaction. The disparity between rich and poor is just quite unbearable. So how do we solve this problem? We cannot stop the rich from becoming richer. So we have to write a new manifesto that wealth is no more the measurement of success. The measurement of success will be relevance. Are you relevant to other people? And the relevant billionaire is one that improves the life of 1 billion people. And the one who have $1 billion is irrelevant to us. So once you shift the goalpost, then people are more focused on relevance, then eventually we will have also more harmonious society, and we will have more fairer distribution of wealth. We will be more caring, and we'll be happier people, because we do not have to be so nervous feeling small. Because the current celebration is that if I am rich, I am wealthy, arrogant, and selfish, then you must give me your inferiority complexes. But why should I do that to you, right? I should not envy you, I should ignore you. So if we were to move the 99% away from the 1% and start to play our own game called relevance, then the 1% can play their own game called money, right? So after a while, they will find it very bored and they will join us. So this is the third movement I'm going to create. And the manifesto is in the writing. And once we redefine the new meaning of success, I think people by nature want to follow. People don't like to lead. That's why it's very easy to be a leader, because the oversupply of follower and the shortage of leader. So whatever you lead, there will be followers. So once you change the new definition, suddenly you will find that a lot of people will follow. So I think that eventually we will be able to make people come to their senses, because what we want to do is we want to be happy, we want to have good relationship, and the equalizer is that on the last day of our life, we are all penniless, right? Nobody gets to bring it along, right? So there's only two things that make us all equal. One is we all have to go to the toilet, and the other one is we all die broke. So, so maybe I will invite Vishwa to join me now, and then do some Q&A. Thank you.
You know, Jack, we've had so many people here for the past 3 years and 2 months. And I say this unabashedly, that was one of the finest, most inspirational openings I've ever seen. And it's because it came from the heart and you spoke plain English. Hey, that's a cue for a clap, guys.
That's also because I failed everything in school.
We should promote that, perhaps. Then NUS will go out of business.
No, actually, I went to Lee Kuan Yew School at 52, and I graduated at 56, 2 years ago, with a master in public admin. So now I'm actually an adjunct here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether you remember this. The first time I met Jack was in my previous avatar when I was chairman of the feedback unit. You may have heard of it. Feedback unit's political division. And was an amazing group of, I mean, about 40, 50 of us will meet every month, and we will discuss various political issues. And we had people from all walks of life there. And one day, there was this unassuming guy who joined the group, Jack. He was sitting there. And it's customary for me to invite the newcomer to introduce himself. So I said, Jack, why don't you introduce yourself? I don't know whether you remember this. Okay, Jack said, hi, I'm Jack Sim. I'm president of the World Toilet Organization. And there was a spontaneous chuckle. No, actually it was a guffaw, it was a laughter, right? And Jack was expressionless, right? He's a straight-faced joker, right? And he said, y'all don't shit. And then he said, I shit. That was the ultimate silencer, you know, because when sometimes you are confronted by the bare truth in bare language, it is powerful. And I wish more of us would engage in that, right? Now, I'm going to depart from tradition. Usually I ask a mischievous question, but I will take that offline with you. I want to have the honor of reading out to you some of Jack's milestones. In 2001, he founded the World Toilet Organization as a global network, blah, blah, blah. In 2005, he started the World Toilet Forums in Shanghai, right? Bangkok, 2006, and today you've organized more than 10 World Toilet, 15 World Toilet Summits globally by himself and his team, right? And this year is going to be in Philadelphia.
No. This year we did it in India.
India. Next year is Philadelphia.
Next year we haven't decided, but Philadelphia we've done already.
Done already, okay.
And it was a very big meeting with Prime Minister Modi's blessing. Yeah.
I can't help it. I said, oh shit. Okay. 2006, he won the Social Entrepreneur of the Year award by Schwab Foundation of Switzerland and became a Schwab Fellow of the World Economic Forum. 2007, he became the first person elected to be an Ashoka Global Fellow. You've heard of Ashoka Foundation, right? 2008, he was appointed to the World Economic Forum's Global Agenda Council for Water Security and the GAC for Social Entrepreneurship. 2008, Time magazine named him Hero of the Environment. 2009, Channel News Asia named him Asian of the Year, 2009. 2009 as well, he created SaniShop micro-franchise for economic empowerment of rural folks around the world. In 2011, he was named Asian of the Year by Reader's Digest magazine. 2011, the World Toilet Organization, not World Trade Organization, I believe, because it says WTO here. The WTO audience reached 1.5 billion people. 2012, his film Meet Mr. Toilet premiered at Sundance Film Festival, which was, Sundance is the brainchild of Robert Redford. Incidentally, again in my earlier job, my company used to produce documentaries for Discovery and National Geographic and History Channel. So, because I was so enamored by this man, not because of his looks obviously, I made a strong pitch for National Geographic to do a documentary on Jack Sim of Singapore. And they bought the idea, and we actually did a documentary on National Geographic on our own Jack Sim. And it won 2 awards in the New York Festival. The list goes on. 2013, the Singapore government successfully helped World Toilet Organization by tabling to the UN General Assembly to adopt 19th of November, which is when WTO was formed, as the official UN World Toilet Day. The resolution was sponsored by 122 countries. All I can say is, why don't we celebrate a lot more Jack Sims in our country? Why do we keep saying that Singapore is bereft of talent? We are looking in all the wrong shitholes. And I think it is lamentable, it is despicable that we don't recognize our own heroes. I remember early conversations we had, Jack, when you wanted to organize the first World Toilet Organization conference in Singapore. It was difficult for him to get a minister to agree to come as a guest of honor. We had the conversation. It was difficult. Suisse came in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Suisse.
Right? Because nobody wanted to deal with it. Even though you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that this is an individual who is trying to do something that we all know is important but fail to recognize or acknowledge. How do you feel about that, Jack?
I think the Singaporean is grossly underpriced at home, but he is very highly valued overseas. So the best thing is to go overseas. So when you go overseas, they really treat you well, red carpet treatment. Because the Singapore brand is actually very highly regarded. What we need to do is to realize that. And then we have to stop being so self-deprecating.
Yes.
And if we were to see people like Dickinson, genius people, but what did the government do for him, you know? So this is the kind of...
But they're asking what did he do for the government?
He did a lot. They just don't count because he's not white, only his hair is white.
You're making him blush. No, but maybe that's the reason why the government is, the recent budget, they're announcing special schemes for internationalization. So that more Singaporeans like you can get credit internationally.
We can't, because I'm a social organization, and Spring and whoever will come along to say, oh, it has to be commercial, and we are dealing with people's money, and all the same story, you know.
So how much of direct or indirect support have you had from Singaporeans?
I would say that I probably get more support than most other social organizations that went out. EDB is a big supporter.
Were they a supporter from the start, or only after you started?
After many years, you have to be recognized by other people first.
So you need track record before
yes,
you're
yes,
supported.
Yes. But I would say it's fair enough. You know, they also want to create a civic industry in Singapore, and then we are kind of their poster boy, because it's the only made in Singapore global organization even up to today. So EDB and then MFA, not money, but helping us with their UN cloud, and we hope the others will take the cue, because in Singapore it's like that. If one ministry support you, then it's safe for the others to support. So I think the door is now open. Yeah.
But let me ask you, based on your own experience, why are we so self-deprecating, as you said? Why do we not recognize our own?
I think the PAP has always claimed that they are the one who gave us the good life, but they forgot that we also work with them to create the good life. And we can't be so poor quality if we can create such a high quality country together, right? So we are actually a very high quality population, very high quality people, but we're just not acknowledged. So I think it's time to, also Singaporeans are saying very self-deprecating words about each other. So it's also very important for us not to be arrogant, but to be proud and to be to give ourselves credit when it's due. Because Singaporeans are workaholic, they are very hardworking, they're very intelligent, they're very obedient, and then what more do you want, right or not? So now actually they're very creative, but creativity is seen as troublemaking. Then how can you call it innovation? When I first invented a roof tile for the conservation roof in Singapore, the URA said, you invented this, so is there two equivalent? So I said, invention don't come in threes, right? They said, then cannot lah, reject lah, otherwise people will say that I give you a monopoly. So actually that roof tile was a very good design. All the architects want it, all the developers want it, but URA don't approve it. So now it became the best seller in Malaysia. All the Penang, this UNESCO heritage site, Malacca, all using my roof tiles, but not Singapore. So this is the difficulty.
How do you think we can change this?
Can change this is first the government have to
the
love the people.
Yeah, the reason why
and
I'm
the people
asking,
have to love each other.
the reason why I'm asking this, Jack, is, let's face it, how many of us will have your gumption? How many of us here believe that we have Jack's gumption? Gumption to go out there and just go out on a limb and do what you believe in, even though the odds are stacked against you from day one. Anyone here who, this is not a trick question. Anyone here who feels that you have it in you?
No.
It's very odd. It's very
it's
difficult.
Not a fair question.
No.
I think they all have the gumption.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think we all have the gumption. I think we may have the gumption, but if you have the gumption but you don't act on it, it's still, but you have the gumption, you acted on it. The truth is most people don't. The environment needs to help to push you a little bit more. What do you think we can do in Singapore to push it a little bit more?
You see, Singapore don't have heroes. Singapore have only one hero, right? So,
Who are you
know,
talking about?
he's recently a bit ill, but
Okay.
he's our hero. But I think we need more heroes. We need to celebrate everybody who is here. And it need not be a celebration of superlative. It should be a celebration of everyday things. You know, right now I want to internationalize our hawker center, because I brought a lot of staff to India recently for the World Toilet Summit, and 3 of them got diarrhea. So I say, if all the visitors to India get diarrhea, why don't we export the hygiene of Singapore to India? And if all the hawker centers still sell same price, but we operate hawker center over there, their food, not our food, but our hygiene standard, then we can actually revolutionize all the developing countries' food hygiene, and people don't have to be sick in their country, and their tourism can grow, no? So simple things like this are asset that we have. We can share, you see. So I think there are a lot of things we can dream of, because we are a very small country, and whatever we want to dream, people will follow. Because, as I explained, the world is short of leaders. And what is actually a leader? A leader is one that is not afraid to make a fool of himself. And if you are just what you believe, you go and lead, you will find followers. Very easy. You see, religion, so easy.
Okay, just as an aside, you've got 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell them what you have named them?
It's faith, truth, worth, and earth. Yeah.
Faith, truth, worth, and earth. Those are the names of his 4 kids. Have you always been a nutcase?
Of course, when you first give birth to the first one, you don't know you have 4, right?
So faith is okay, lah.
Faith is there, and then when you have the second one, so you say, okay, it's a virtue. So let's create the next virtue, truth. And then the third one is worth. So they all end with TH, you see, it's virtue. And then the last one, I thought call it fourth, but it's not a virtue, you see. So happened to be a girl, so called Earth.
Earth.
So she became Miss Earth without running any contest.
You're amazing, lah. You're amazing. So she's Earth Sim. Wow. Earth Sim.
You can call her Miss Earth.
Miss Earth. Okay. Now, you know, in the research interview with you, you said something that really caught my eye, you know. You said, I adopt the spirit of my mother's power of vision to guarantee success regardless of challenges. In this way, the challenges become a fun process like a game. The more complicated, the more energizing it is. Fear is not part of this process, as it is replaced by gumption. I find that extremely inspiring, you know. First, obviously your mother was a very important source of inspiration for you. If you're okay with it, could you share with us why?
I think the mother, not just my mother, but everybody's mother, is the reason why they are here, sitting in this room. Otherwise, they might be died of jaundice or whatever, you know. So, when you think about how mankind has survived all these, I don't know how many years, at least tens of thousands of years, it's because of the spirit of the mother. When the mother gives birth to you, the mother, even if she is an MBA, did not write a business plan, right? So the mother takes the child as a vision of a child that grows up healthy, do well in school, get a good career, and give her grandchildren. So in a flash, she has a vision. And it's a non-negotiable thing. It's non-negotiable. She doesn't say, okay, after fifth year, I run out of money. In case I lost my job, I'll give it to my neighbor. They don't have this type of thought process. So if you adopt the spirit of the mother, you have armed yourself with the guarantee of success. So when I ask people, is there a guarantee of success? They say, no lah, where got guarantee, right? So there is. If there is no guarantee of success, mankind will have gone extinct, right? So the spirit of the mother is very important. And this led me to Lao Tzu. You know, a lot of people talk about Confucius. But Lao Tzu is a higher philosophy, because Confucius philosophy is somewhat like Western philosophy. It's a masculine philosophy. Let's win, right? Winners takes all type of philosophy. Whereas the Lao Tzu philosophy is a feminine philosophy. It is about facilitating everybody to win. So the mother makes sure that the husband is successful, children is successful, no need to claim credit. And if you live this way, you will be able to make the world very beautiful without having to become very famous yourself.
Wow. I mean, if I didn't know you better, I would think that you memorize these lines. No, no, but it's such powerful lines put across. It's such simple terms that we can all relate to. You know, one of the things that I've always admired about you is that you are non-adversarial. He's non-adversarial, you know. He's perfectly fine when someone puts him down, when someone contradicts him. He doesn't feel the need to redeem himself or to sue.
Relieve,
you know?
I need.
Relieve himself, yes. Not redeem himself. And you certainly are not the suing kind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wait for them to sue me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you're hoping,
don't,
but they didn't sue you also. WTO, right. But clearly one of the things that you believe in is not just creating a program or a campaign, but creating a movement, right? I mean, in all the things that you've tried to create, whether it's BOP or World Toilet Organization, but he's trading in that as well now, right? So all of that is really about creating a movement, getting people to come on board, right? So in creating this movement, what do you see your role as?
As a catalyst, as a trigger, because everybody is more intelligent than me. And everybody together is better than everybody alone. So if you were to want to solve world problem, a lot of time, if you try to solve it yourself or your own organization, you're trying to do it, you're trying to solve an inclusive problem exclusively. That's an oxymoron, right? Makes no sense. I want to save the world, but only me. Ridiculous, right? So if you want to do business, you want to kill all your competitors. That's normal. But if you want to solve social problem, you want to create plenty of competitors, because then many helping hands does the work, right? So if you create movement, then everybody will do it in their own name, take ownership themselves. So for example, we saw that India Prime Minister wants to build 111 million toilets to solve the whole India sanitation crisis. But we also know that people prefer to open defecate outside, and to change the habit from fresh air, open defecate outside, to go inside a very dark, lonely room with no friend to chit-chat.
No chit-chat,
Yeah, no fun. So how do we shift this to that at the speed that they are building? They are building 1 toilet per second. You know. So I had to do an advocacy program at that speed of 1 toilet per second. So I think I cannot go out there and slowly promote. I have to create a Bollywood film that tell the story and reposition the toilet from dark, dirty, smelly to the happiest room in India. So we have to change the mindset that I must have a very beautiful toilet because the toilet is the happiest room in India. So they say, why do you call it the happiest room in India? I say, because I interview Indian people before and after they go to the toilet, and all of them tell me they're happier after they go to the toilet. So I've proven that the toilet generates happiness, right? so they laugh, right? But they laugh, that means they agree lah. So they agree. So now I'm making a 30-second ad, you know, where all these movie stars will walk into a toilet. So the first movie star will say, "Aap khush hai? Are you happy?" And then you walk into the toilet, and then the next one come out different one. You say, "Wow, I'm so happy." And the third guy say, "I have to be happy too." Go in. The fourth guy come out. "Oh, you better be happy. Come inside." And then you go back and forth. And finally, we hope Mr. Modi will come and say, "Let's all be happy and let's have happy toilet."
So that's what you mean by movement, lah.
Yeah lah, movement in and out.
I see, I see. So you meant it literally.
Yes.
You want to create movement, bowel movement and all that, huh?
And then also to make a Bollywood film that is 1 hour, so I negotiate with the National Television of India to say, if I create this movie, you will screen it on
This
national
is what?
TV.
Doordarshan.
And so the Rajavendran Rathore Singh, the Minister of State for Broadcasting, says, okay, if you go, we will do it for you, because you will do it for us rather, right?
Yeah.
So then the other one is, I realized that next year in January to March is the Kumbh Mela, which is once every 12 years. It's a very big
Millions of people, yeah.
100 million people, Hindu people, will visit this biggest festival in the world. So we make a film, Bollywood movie. I write the story, and then I give it to the Indian script writer. Now they are preparing it, and then next year we'll screen it. I don't have money. I don't know how to do Bollywood film. Everything I don't know. I Google lah. Right. So after I Google, I write the story. I watch 20 Bollywood film. I can make a Bollywood movie. And then I show the filmmaker, they say, this is exactly the Bollywood movie. It has the roller coaster, emotional ride, songs. I wrote songs
You
also.
wrote songs?
Yes.
And trees?
Yeah?
Trees?
That one they have.
Yeah.
So the thing is that then I don't have funding for the movie, but every day you have to act as if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So today I spoke to USAID, and they said, we're very interested to fund. I spoke to Reckitt Benckiser, they said not interested. Then I spoke to Unilever, they said interested. So we do everything as if it will happen. And then by some miracle it will happen. So the spirit of the mother is like that. She bring up the child as if the child will be healthy. Then the child is healthy. Right? As if they will go to NUS, sometimes they fail. But another rule.
I tell you, every line is wisdom, you know. I feel like collecting the wisdom. Okay. I don't want to dominate. Y'all. Okay, ask questions, please. No speeches, huh? Bernard too. Don't censor, huh?
Mr. Sim, thank you very much. My name is Bernard. You shared that, you had 16 very successful years and 16 thriving businesses, and then you decided to put it aside and do social enterprise. I heard you, but I still didn't quite get it. So what was it that made you or gave you the idea to work on toilets? Why toilets?
So first of all, there was a recession. It helped me make decision easier. So in the recession, it's very boring. You don't have anything to do. So I have to wait for a recession to be over. And meanwhile, you can't grow another number 17 business. In fact, orders are getting lesser and things are not so nice. So at that time, I thought, I need to review my life. Then I realized that I'm already 40, so I have another 40 years before I die. At 80, normally exactly at 80th birthday you die, right? So that means I have 14,600 days more to go, right? Right now I'm sitting here at like 8,020 days more before I die, you know. So if you count the number of days you have left, for those who are 81 years old, actually you already died, but you're just on extra time, right? Injury time, right? So what you need to do is to know there's not much time left. So selling time to buy money is a loss-making business. You cannot get more time. Why should you sell time, you know? So a lot of people forgot that making money can be a losing business. So when your time, what do you want to do, is on the last day of your life, what do you want to say to yourself about the journey? If you want to say, show me all my collection of watches before I die, then maybe, or show me my bank account. I don't know, I don't think you want that. Probably on the last day of life, you're looking back at relationship, you're looking back at things you did for the other people. And when you are able to do things for other people, you know, the chemistry in your body is positive, you know. Your consciousness open up, and you become quite energized and quite a happy person. If you don't believe, you go and try. But if you are buying things, every time you buy, after a while, you're not satisfied, you have to buy again. So it's like very short-term happiness. And every time you grab, you become very miserable. So you become a tired person. So I feel privileged, to be able to find neglected agenda. There's no point doing those things that are already very popular. You just trying to join the crowd, right? That's when you want to be safe. But if you're already going to die, you might as well try something that is quite reckless. And I think sanitation, ending poverty, redefining success, all these things are very, very useful and could be very original ideas also. So I find that I'm quite clever. I think that's the reward.
Jack, you also shared with me that once that you were inspired by what PM Goh Chok Tong said, right, at that point. Because he sort of said that to be a gracious society, the measurement is really the state of the public toilets.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
He says that we should measure our graciousness against the cleanliness of our public toilet. So I felt, is it true? It's not fair, you know, because the toilet cleaners are not professional. The coffee shop don't even have the soap and paper, and then how can you blame the user? The user's job is to put dirt into the toilet, you know. Our job is to dirty it. I mean, we don't shit soap and urinate detergent, do we? So if the government is blaming us for not flushing the auto-flush toilet, that's really strange. Because all of them by law has to be auto-flush.
Yes.
And they're still blaming us not flushing the toilet. Why don't they just go and find a coffee shop owner for having faulty auto-flush? Right? So I thought, yeah, you have to train the toilet cleaners. So where's the best cleaner? Japan. So I tell Lim Swee say, the Japanese toilet cleaner, we pay them, bring them here, train the cleaners, and then upgrade their salary because their skill is better. And then this is your work development authority's job. Then he agreed. So we created World Toilet College, like that. So every time you want to mobilize people, you have to go and read their agenda. Then you use those words. Whatever words they use, they will agree with.
So empowerment and...
you go to their website, it's all there.
All there, yeah.
You just take the few lines and then you repeat it, then they'll say, exactly what we need, then they become your friend.
You know, I've been very curious about this, right? And I'm sure many of you would as well. When you travel to the Western countries, the public toilets are amazingly clean, right? And if we travel to most Asian countries, with the exception of Japan, I would say, with the exception of Japan, from my experience, it's terrible. you know. Some people say it's because we use a lot more water. Some may argue that we shit a lot more. I don't know what it is. Is it about something that we do in there that is...
Actually, it's not true lah.
What is it?
What is it is that you go to all the tourist places, you see. You go to all the good places. But the local will tell you otherwise. The Japanese will tell you that the rural school toilets are horrible. And I've seen horrible toilets. No,
but if we were to compare city with city,
City with city, I think the American toilet is also not very good. The American toilet usually you walk in the toilet and you see everybody's underwear, you can see, you know. Because it's very high. And then there's gap below, you can see the guy shitting there. All this time, loss of privacy, very bad. And the vandalism also very high. Usually I see graffiti and all that. So it's that sometimes your exposure is limited to the good places. So Asian, I would say, if you go to Thailand, basically quite clean.
Now, how much has it got to do with the culture of the people? I mean, respecting common spaces. You know, I feel that sometimes when you go to a person's house, home, it's very clean. Yes. But the same person, when he uses public facility, he doesn't care. You know, so I'm just speculating here.
Yes. I think that there is like in India, people keep their house very clean, then they throw all the rubbish just outside their fence. You know, very strange. Why outside your fence? It's still very dirty. It's next to your house. But I think to solve this type of problem, we have to make it fashion. Only fashion can solve problem. So you make it trendy. You know, like wow, now it's very fashionable to throw it in the dustbin. Much more fashionable. Not because it's correct, no. Correct people don't listen. You say, right, do this, don't do that. You put poster, that no use. You have to say, doing like that, very stylish, you know. Then they will follow. Human being, very interesting.
Okay. Actually, you're very right there. Can we have this question up, please, Shusha? What are the opportunities and challenges of running an NGO that is focused externally? Based out of Singapore.
I think it's much easier. First of all, Singapore don't have a lot of problem. Secondly, when you try to solve the Singapore problem, you are competing with the bureaucrats who want to solve the problem. So the only way you become a GONGO, government outsourced NGO. So not very good. Whereas if you go outside, then you can actually dream your wildest dream, because first of all, the population that you can improve is a lot, you know. And the respect that they give to you because you are Singaporean is very high. So I would think that the NGO going outside enjoy a lot of privilege. But why is it that the Singapore don't give the same respect to the own people? I think it has to be the paternalistic approach. We're always telling your children are complacent and lazy and useless. Look at the Chinese top in class. Look at the Vietnamese top in school. And that's no good for our human psyche.
We've always wanted to be somebody else. I mean, I remember when we were growing up, right? It was, we wanted to follow the Swiss standard of living. Remember? Everyone
Before
wanted
that
to be Swiss. Then we wanted to look east and look at Japan. Then I remember we wanted to be what? We wanted to be part of, we wanted to be Silicon Valley of the East.
But you know,
then Giorgio said want to be London because of the London Eye.
We have become better than all this now. There's nobody else to copy already. You have to innovate yourself.
No, but we still always keep referencing. In fact, what's interesting is, I think about 5 years ago, there was a survey done by the Straits Times, I think, and they discovered that 70% or more of the Singaporean Chinese want to be Japanese. Korean or Japanese? Japanese or Korean, you know? I think the Singaporean Indian want to be Chinese. No, but we are all not very comfortable under our own skin, you know. Is there a reason for this? Or,
I don't know.
Is that,
I think
is that the norm everywhere else?
I think that even between Singaporeans, we are always criticizing each other, notion like ugly Singaporean, all this. These are quite self-destructive. I would I go to the blog, I will always defend Singaporean and say, these are very quality people. And the reality is that if we are not quality, how can we build this country? You know? Or at least we were quality enough to get the foreign workers to build this country.
Actually, we talked about it some time back, right?
Yeah.
Singapore was constructed and continues to be constructed by foreigners, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all our major buildings, right? Am I right, King Soon? I mean, all the big buildings, St. Andrew's Cathedral, and all of them were built by convicts from India, right? All the major roads, trunk roads, were all built by convicts, foreigners, and today we continue with the tradition. They never got respect then, they still don't get respect today. Oh, I didn't see you, I'm so sorry. Yes?
My name is Chey Hoon. Thank you very much, Jack. I'm really inspired by you and humbled by your speech tonight. I have two questions, not directly related to toilet. I'm not sure which one will allow me to ask them. First is to pick your brain on the issues about fashions. Smoking seems to be very fashionable to the young people, and it worries me because in 10 or 20 years' time, these young people will grow middle age to old age. And how is this fashion be reversed? That's my first question regarding fashions. Second question, if I can be indulged by Vishwan, is you have 4 children. How do you teach the 4 children your value rather than the value of the world? Thank you very much.
Thank you, great questions. Yep.
So the cigarettes are promoted by pop culture. So like the Marlboro Man. Actually, I know the photographer who created the Marlboro Man.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and this white hat and lasso and horses and all that. So you feel very macho holding the cigarette, you see. And then Hollywood, they show people smoking all the time. So these are all embedded. So if you want to do that, I guess you have to do a lot of movies. Whenever somebody smoking is the beggar. Is that very scruffy person smoking. And if all the time you saw somebody smoking, it looks like that, then I think that will be a negative association. But if you still see people, if you put those like fetus, throat cancer, lung cancer, I think it doesn't work. You have to de-fashionize it. You have to make it really scruffy. And then the brand association will make the smoking go away. So maybe we should pass law to dictate that all advertisement, all movie must at least have 3 guys who really look horrible smoking. So I think that will help. Yeah. And your second question is about
your 4 children, your children.
How to teach children.
Values.
You cannot teach children. You can only live and they watch you. If you teach them, it doesn't work. Doesn't work. If you tell them, do this, don't do that, you try to inculcate value, sometimes they adopt a few of it. But when you behave in a certain way, then they watch you, then that one they will believe. So it pays to be a good human being. Because if you're selfish, maybe next time when you're old age, you teach them to be good. Like, a lot of father, the child is coughing and then he says, I want to buy ice cream. So cannot, your mother will scold you. No, I want to eat ice cream. Then he cries, okay. Don't tell your mother. Then you're teaching him to tell lie, right? So this type of behavior, then you're teaching him that blackmailing you is rewarding. So all these things is no good lah. So you cannot teach the children. You got to live and behave, and with all your imperfection and all your beauty, they watch, and then they select. But you gotta love them like crazy so that they trust you. Then after that, the rest you cannot. You hope, you hope they don't mix with bad company, or they don't have teacher that torture them and tell them that they are not good at arts or whatever. But this keeps on happening in school.
Thank you. I hope that answered your question. You can chat with him later if you want.
Thank you very much. Actually, I feel that your children will be surrounded by the world values. Although we try to role model for our children, but the world values are very fashionable. So how do you prevent your 4 children from falling prey to these fashions?
But I cannot stop them from playing computer game at 1 a.m. in the morning. I can't do anything.
Or even traveling, or even studying abroad.
Yeah, I can't do anything. So I can just tell them that you decide. So when they decide, they're responsible for wearing spectacle or whatever is they decide. So give them the decision. I think it's better. No choice. Yeah. Have to. Then they blame themselves in the end. You see, become accountable.
We've got several questions from the online community. By the way, this is webcast live. So there are questions coming in. I'm getting the questions here on Pigeonhole from people outside as well. So I'm putting up the next question. Since you're working at an international level, how do you manage your relationships with people of different geographical locations with respect to using new media?
I think that human beings roughly are the same. Whether they are black or yellow or white or whatever, it seems to be very similar. I was very afraid of black people before I go to Africa. Then I start to chat with them. Same, no? Girls want to be pretty, boys want to drive car. They talk about houses and everything is the same. So I think we don't have a lot of difference. There are some taboo in the Middle East. Don't talk toilet too blatantly. Try to say it in a different language. So all those things we do have to respect and have to be alert about lah. You cannot go to Germany and put out your hands like that. All these things are very important not to do lah. Cannot even joke about it. So these are things that you can quickly learn. But basically, human beings are very similar. And to understand how human beings feel, you just have to talk to yourself. If every day you ask yourself, hey, why are you feeling like that? Why are you upset? Why are you so happy? Why? Right? Why are you now lost, blur, or whatever? So you start talking to yourself, you start to understand everybody. Because more or less we are all similar. So cultural differences are quite exaggerated. Yeah. But if you start to empathize and try to find out what's their interest and then align their interest to your interest rather than tell them your interest. You have no interest. It's their interest first. And then you will find, okay, this guy is not aligned, so I don't spend too much time. This one very aligned, so invest. And then suddenly you get a lot of people aligned with you. And as the first batch of people are aligned, the next batch follow. Then after a while, you give back the problem to them. Then they own it. Then you move on. You cannot be solving other people's problem, but you can be instigating them to solve their own problem.
Yeah, and one of the challenges that's faced by many Singapore entrepreneurs when they travel around, even in the region, is that they find it very hard to adapt. Right? We've heard several horror stories of Singaporeans trying to impose Singapore style of management when you're working in other parts of the world. And there's a very strong pushback. You get a very strong pushback. Whether you're in Vietnam, whether in parts of China, India, Indonesia, because we are not known to be sufficiently adaptive. Is that a fair comment from your observation, or is it because you have had a very different upbringing or
I
exposure?
think it's all stereotyping. When you first trip, you of course don't know. What I think Singapore can do, I mean all this productivity up to a certain level, you cannot be more productive. Right? You keep on whipping the horse, after a while, he just collapses, right? And then innovation, so far all the innovation is copy the West. So not much really original innovation. You can innovate, it is important. But I think for Singapore to be a very, very competitive stage, this type of thing, when somebody learn something, he share it with other people. So if we go, think of the whole country as an ecosystem, and everybody is teaching everybody else what to do, what to avoid, and what are good winning formula. And if we all start to map where are our alignment, let's say my factory is here, around this next 2 kilometer radius, who are there? Who can be my subcontractor? Who can I outsource? And if we start to think like nature and create ecosystem in the whole country, we would be so much more productive. Like the Japanese car industry, all the parts are outsourced to common people, and then everybody get economy of scale. I think Singapore should run like Jurong Island. In Jurong Island, there's an ecosystem. All your byproduct, all your petroleum become petrochemical, and then finally the last one is low value naphthalene, but nobody is wasting anything, right? You should run the entire country like that. So you've been to Vietnam, and down there, this government always want corruption money for that, so you have to avoid this, and then you talk to another department. No, I went to Malaysia, and one of the Menteri Besar asked me for free shares, you know. And so in the end, I said, how do we invest in a country that the Menteri Besar asked me for free share? So my French partner say, forget it. I said, no, we go to the State Economic Development Corporation of that state, and we partner with him. So no need free share. They pay for the share, but then the Menteri Besar cannot do anything because it's his state company. So eventually we invested the factory there, and we run very profitably, and we don't have to give free share. So at times, this type of lesson can be useful for other business people. So if we were to cultivate a national ecosystem where everybody learn from one another and take care of one another, then you know what we'll have? We'll have national pride, national identity, we'll have competitiveness, we'll have efficiency, and then the PAP, if they can do that, they can also win votes, right? So everyone is incentivized this way.
True.
Yeah.
Actually, what you said is very fascinating, because there's been quite a bit of discussion about the world having to shift from an industrial mode of thinking to an agricultural mode of thinking. See, the industrial mode of thinking is very linear, right? And very cause-effect. But agricultural mode of thinking is a lot more ecosystem, right? Where whether you're big or small, you are just as dependent on each other. Whether you are the bacteria or a huge tree, you're still part of the ecosystem, and you're dependent. So the whole issue of interdependency and learning from each other and developing together, you know, and I think the point is very well taken, in the sense that I think we need to shift a little bit more towards a more interdependent relationship, where you are willingly learning from each other.
To do that, you have to reduce fear, which will increase confidence and trust, which will eventually lead to love of one another, and then it will lead to humility, because humility comes from when you're confident. You know. When you're not confident, you're very scared, you cannot be humble. That's why this superiority complex is a manifestation of inferiority complex. So if we don't become too inferior, we can trust and work with one another. And then you will create the synergy that is unlocking 3 or 4 times more productive things than to flog ourselves for productivity. Productivity, you reach a certain level, you can't go further already.
Any final questions? Yes, please. Run.
Hi, Mr. Sim. I am Renu. I'm not from NUS. But first, I just wanted to say what a privilege it is to be here. I am awestruck, starstruck, possibly love-struck. And I think that you really epitomize the three words I see there: passion, action, and inspiration, like no other person that I've seen here on the stage before. Okay, back to my question, was that you mentioned that you preferred, that business was more exciting and easier than studying. With that in mind, why did you decide to do your MPA or go to school to get a formal master's, and what was that experience like?
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Study is not logical. Business is very common sense, right? So when you do business, everything becomes very commonsensical. Study is very funny. If you want to say something, you cannot say. You have to have literature research. You must say somebody who has said something else, and then you argue about what he said. Why should I waste time bothering about what he said? I want to say what I want to say. Stop. I'm a professor. If you don't quote somebody, then I'm not going to give you marks. I think this kind of educational system is moronic, you know. It's xiao, you know. Right now. Right. In this way, you brought innovation. So business is
Victor,
much
put
easier.
your head down and bow.
Like that, right? So the other one is about what was this question?
Sorry?
What's the next question?
No.
Why do I go to study
Since you
MPA?
felt, why did you, at this late stage in life?
So my mother, a few reasons. My mother was lamenting that all the three children never wear the square hat. So say, oh, my sister children all graduate, but my children all don't know how to study. But actually my brother and myself did very well in business. So I said, don't worry, I can study. So I go back to study. But also I was very frustrated with the bureaucrat. I don't know why every time I have these brilliant ideas, I go to them, they say no. So like 8 hours, they get paid just to say, no. 5 o'clock, go home, got salary. So I said, how come? So I don't understand. Right? So I don't understand. So I said, to understand, I must go and study. How to be like one of them. So I study public administration, you see. So as I study, I start to realize that there is this ploys of bureaucrats and ploys of politicians, and the bureaucrat is not protected against the public. The public attack them, right? Their colleague also attack them, because if blame, there's always the question, who's to blame? Then the answer is not me, right? Standard answer, and not me, who? Then like that, right? So in this case, he's not protected from a colleague, and he's also not protected from the boss, because every time he do something good, the boss will say he did it, right? If something bad, it's him. So the life of the bureaucrat is very tough. So he has to protect himself by doing nothing. Not nothing, nothing new. Nothing new.
Don't rock the boat.
So I was one day very frustrated, and I said to this professor from Harvard, Dean Williams. So I said, I'm so frustrated with the bureaucrat. And he asked me one very important question. Are you frustrated with the bureaucrat, or are you frustrated with your inability to engage them? Then I thought, it's me, It's me. So I have to think of how to incentivize them. And then they don't wear a t-shirt that I'm the guy you're looking for. No? Even girls looking for husband also don't have this stuff. So then you got to go and find out. And then I realized that bureaucrats are not monolith. Government are also not monolith. Every individual is different. Some are birds, some are fish, some are cows or monkeys. So they are different. So you then have to start to work very hard to adapt, to understand what are their alignment. And sure enough, if you open your eyes, you can find very good bureaucrat. And you can find bureaucrat also. Right? So you have to go and search. Because even their bosses don't know what quality they are. Right? So you won't know. So it is hard work. But I think what I learned from the university, the Lee Kuan Yew School, is that other countries are even worse than us. because my classmates are from 50 countries. Other countries, they have corruption, they're very illogical things. So I think, count our blessing. There will be trade-off, no policy will be absolutely able to satisfy everyone, but whenever it's no good, you voice out, but always look for what is the solution, always say what's next, always move forward, and always do something. Otherwise, we'll be just grumbling all the time, and grumbling is a waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me have the privilege of asking you the last question. A very honest answer. A person who has achieved what you have, would find it very hard to prevent it from getting to his head. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, wouldn't you agree that the list of achievements, I can't think of any other Singaporean who's actually achieved what you have, not only in creating a global organization from nothing, in a space that most people don't want to go into. You created movements, you organized 15 summits, you have transformed the way people around the world think. You've even got the UN to stipulate a day. I mean, God, these are humongous achievements. Yet, you're a regular guy. And this is how he is. This is not, he's not putting on a show. Huh? This is how he is. And for me, the thing that I admire most about you is that your ability is this tremendous ability to remain centered, to remain who you are and true to yourself. How do you do that?
So it's in the beginning, when I appear on TV, right? I'm so happy, So I call my friends, hey, today, tonight 7:30, Channel 5 news, watch me, I'm on TV. So normal, very typical. So my friends get excited. Wow, you're on TV, okay, must go and watch, right?
My friend is on TV.
Yeah. And then next week I'm on TV again. Then I call them, hey, 9 o'clock on TV. Then of course the second time they say, on TV again. Okay, I watch. Not so excited already. I put down the phone and I think, Jack, you are siao, You are intoxicated and you are enjoying this thing, and now you are going into a trouble. You're going to be in trouble. Because you must remember, what is all this publicity for? The publicity is for you to do your work better. If you win prizes, win award, it's for you to do your work better. It's not about you. But quietly, you can still enjoy because you're always egoistic, it's always there, but you cannot enjoy too much. You cannot think of it as you are the mission. You are not the mission. The mission is much higher. And when your mission is much higher than you, people will be invited to the mission because it's a beautiful journey. If you are the mission, after a while, everybody will run away. So there is no meaning in you being a mission. You only become the mission because of your vanity. What's the vanity caused by? It's caused by your fear that people don't recognize you. There's an inferiority complex. You rid yourself from as much fear as possible, then you don't need that. You don't have anything to prove. You just want to have fun. You just want to be useful, like that. But there's one more thing I think you don't know. Last year, I became a village chief in Samoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have to be topless?
Topless. I was topless. I wear beads and skirt, and I drink the kava juice with all the village chief. So how did I become a village chief in Samoa? The Prime Minister of Samoa, I don't even know where is Samoa. So I met him in the UN General Assembly, and he says, I want to invite you to Samoa, and I want to give you a Matai title, honorary title. So I said, I don't know where is Samoa. I did nothing for Samoa. He said, oh, because I am the supreme chief of this village, and the village is called toilet, you know. But you are the chief of toilet, so you have to come. He's a very funny man. So I said, really? Oh, in that case, I come. So I bring my wife there, and then 6 a.m. in the morning, ceremony, and he become a village chief in Samoa. World Toilet Day, they print Samoa stamps, no? World Toilet Day stamps.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a very funny life. If you don't go and do whatever, you don't know what will become of you, but you can become anything you want to be. If you become a free spirit, and don't be too tied up to your self-image of who you are and whether your hair is messy or not, all that, not important. When I was in secondary school, those Greece period, I was always combing my hair. No? Combing my hair. Everybody have a comb there, combing their hair. Then one day I realized nobody's looking at my hair. Why? They are only looking at their own hair. And nobody is looking at their hair also. So this society works like that, you see. Nobody's looking at your hair. Nobody's interested in you. Therefore, you don't need to impress them. You just have to impress yourself.
You know, you are the supreme advocate of Taoism, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, everything you said from the time, Lao Tzu and Tao, just going with the flow, going with the way, and it's really been a wonderful, heart-cleansing session for me. I don't know about you. It's made me reflect a lot, and the one particular sentence or line that sticks in my head, which I think to a large extent for me captures the essence of who you are, is when you said you want to be inclusive by being exclusive. No. I think for me that particular line struck a very powerful chord, because in many societies, many of us, we want to create an inclusive society by being exclusive, meaning wanting to take the credit ourselves, wanting to be the person seen to be doing it. And a lot of that has to do with the ego. And I think you are a huge inspiration for creating a movement that will keep all of us sane and throw away the combs.
Correct.
And I must say, I'm sure you'll join me in saying that this is what makes us proud of being Singaporean. Jack Sim. My friend. Hey, come on, give him a bigger applause, man. And Jack, I say this absolutely honestly, I have done how many sessions so far? I just finished, huh? No, I think over 40 so far. Over 40 sessions. In my heart of hearts, to tell you, this is the finest. This is the best session I've ever had. Really. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Yes,
We've got something for you. You see, my hair is combed. Very well combed.
Mustache also combed.
Mustache also combed. This is a picture of us, all right, for you to frame up and put it in your hall.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, we'd like you now, give that to me. We'll give it to you in a while. Yeah. Thank you. If you could say something nice about me, how you feel tonight. Shall I stand next to you and watch you and dictate? This year, the first few speakers of this year, we've specially selected speakers who have chosen the path not taken. You know, people have, you're going to read to us?
Only one life, no rehearsal, make it useful.
Great. Thanks. Thanks, my friend. Thank you. So as I was saying, this year we are starting off by getting people who have chosen the path not taken, who have achieved greatness in very quiet ways and remain simple and humble. Last month we had Dr. Jagathisan, if you remember him. Dr. Jagathisan was the only Malaysian Singaporean to ever win the Asian Games sprint. He was the fastest man in Asia. He was also a medical doctor, top student at Singapore University. It's in Malaysia. He was outstanding. Wonderful session we had last month. Jack this month. Next month we have Rani Singham. Amazing, trained in law faculty, decided to be a singer, go with a passion. She's one of the finest singers that Singapore has produced, right? So do come and join us, be inspired. I think we can all afford to let ourselves go a little bit more. So let's get inspired. Join us next month. In the meantime, come and have some refreshments with us. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Take your microphone off.
You need the